What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So in a previous video I showed you 7 elite FM23 Wonder Kids that I think are the best 7 Wonder Kids in Football Manager 2023. However, I've decided to come back with a second part because I think I found another 7 that could rival those in the first video. Yes, in today's video we're going to be off to the Bundesliga, the Premier League, La Liga. We're even going to take a trip to Denmark as I show you another 7 Wonder Kids you should go and check out in FM23. Let's jump in and show you who the first player is in this video. In at number 7 on this list is Cesare Casadei. Now, I have to admit, he's a player that I haven't seen a lot of and I don't know too much about. However, what I do know and can appreciate is a wonder kid with great talent and great future potential. Now, looking at the player, he's signed for Chelsea. He has come from Inter Milan. He's 19 years old, and at the start of the game he's 15 to 22 million pounds in terms of value. Looking at him, he's a player who plays through the centre of the pitch, plays as a central midfielder, defensive midfielder and an attacking midfielder. As I said, a 19-year-old who starts off with finishing a 14, first touch 13, heading of 15, passing 13, penalty taking of 12, technique of 13. In terms of his mentors, he has good anticipation, determination, off the ball, teamwork, vision, work rate, physicals, acceleration, agility, balance, jumping reach, natural fitness. It's all there. I can see why he's a wonder kid, and I think that once he develops in that Chelsea youth setup, he's going to go on to become quite the star. I think I'm a bit foolish for not hearing the name before, but I certainly think once both in real life and in FM23 he develops, I will certainly know the name Cesare Casadei. In at number 6 on this list is a player who wears number 6 at Camp Nou. He is Gavi. So in the previous video we showed off Pedri. This is a player who I think could rival Pedri in terms of being the main man in the middle of the park at Camp Nou. Looking at him, he is a product of the Barcelona youth system. He's 17 years old. He's 51 to 61 million pounds in value. Looking at his little diagram of where he plays on the pitch, he is a through the middle of the park player, can play as a defensive midfield holder, can play as a central midfielder through the middle, can also play as an attacking midfielder. You can shift him out wide if you are absolutely desperate, not natural there, but can play those positions. And when you look at the stats for a 17-year-old, knowing he's only going to get better, this player is amazing. Now, obviously, a big name in real life, in world football. Gavi is a player who does not fly under the radar, but looking at him in the game, he has loads of room to improve. You're not going to prize him away from Barcelona, and certainly if you can do it, you're not going to get him on the cheap. Gavi is a player who is going to be a world star at the age of 17. He already is a star. He's going to go on and develop even further. This is a name to remember. Number 5 in today's video is a player who has been a wonder kid for the last couple of Football Manager games. He's Yeremy Pino, the well thought of winger who plays for Villarreal. So he's another player who was born on the Canary Islands, broke out to mainland Spain, signed for Villarreal, has worked his way through their youth teams and has finally started to put his stamp on their first team. He is 19 years old, valued at 53 to 79 million pounds at the start of the game. You can see by looking at his pitch diagram, plays as a dynamic winger, can play either wide left, wide right, can also play through the middle in terms of being an attacking midfielder and a striker. And when you look at his stats, you can see if he continues to develop, he's going to be an absolute world star. Pace of 14, acceleration of 14, flair of 16, technique of 16, vision of 14, dribbling of 16. He has everything that you want for those kinds of players who just stay out wide, drift inside, are creative, can score goals. Yeremy Pino is going to be a star in FM23. Next up, for the purposes of this video, we are taking a quick trip to Denmark and we are looking at Andreas Schjelderup. He plays for FC Nordsjælland. He is 18 years old and he's worth 6.4 to 7.8 million pounds. So that means at the start of the game, if you can purchase him, you are going to get an absolute worldie of a player for an absolute bargain of a price. Looking at him in terms of the player that he is, in his positions, he's highlighted as playing as a left winger. He is right-footed, so he can cut in from that left-hand side onto his stronger right foot, meaning he will be an inverted player for those systems where you've got an inside forward or an inverted winger. You can just bring him across. He's going to be direct. He has good pace. He has good dribbling and good skills. He can also finish, as he can play as a frontman too. Looking at him, he is 176 centimetres tall, weighs 73 kilos, so he's going to be a dynamic player. His dribbling is 16, his first touch is 16, passing 16, technique is 16, vision, off the ball, anticipation, pace and acceleration of 14 each. This is an absolute gem of a player. If you need to just go out and buy one player at the start of FM23, Andreas Schjelderup is going to be that player, because he is well worth his position on this WONDERKIDS list. Next up, we are back at camp now, and this time we are looking at Ansu Fati. Yes, he is now 19 years old. He has been a previous Football Manager wonderkid. He's valued at the start of the game at £35 to £53 million, meaning you're not probably going to be able to get him from Barcelona, but he's definitely one to keep an eye on in the future, in case you can prize him away from them. The type of player he is a quick, dynamic winger, cuts in from the left, cuts in from the right, can also play as a striker. This kid really has everything going for him. When you look at his stats, he has pace of 15, acceleration of 16, agility of 17. He has good determination, flair, off the ball, vision. In terms of technique, it's 16, long shots of 14, dribbling 16, finishing of 16. You can see why there is a real hype and a real buzz around Ansu Fati in the real world. If you can get him in FM23, he's going to be an absolute elite talent for you. In at number 2 on this list is a player who started off in Birmingham City's academy. Yes, they thought so highly of him, they retired his shirt number. He went to Dortmund and he promised to come good, and that is exactly what he has been doing, playing regularly and scoring regularly in both the Bundesliga and the Champions League. It is, of course, Jude Bellingham. This is a generational talent. Every single person in the country has this player's names on their lips. He's one of those players that could sign for any of the top teams around the world. He would fit in and he would play exceptional football. Fingers crossed Gareth Southgate goes with it and plays him in the World Cup, and he can prove to the world just how good he is in real life. But in FM23, he's every bit as good as he is in real life. Starts off still only 18 years old. Feels like he's been around forever. He's 96 to £115 million. But I hear he has an £88 million release clause, which you can go and activate if you have the cash and you're managing one of those types of clubs. So he's a midfield general, plays as a defensive holder, also plays as a creative midfielder, can also bomb forward and play as an attacking midfielder. You've seen him score plenty of goals, certainly against Manchester City. He likes a goal against Man City, even if the referees try to rob him of one or two of them. And he is a player who can just create and run midfields. You just look at him, his stats just jump off the page at you. Dribbling of 16, first touch of 16, technique of 16, aggression, bravery, determination of 20, flair of 16, work rate of 17, natural fitness, stamina. If they could put his actual personality into this game, I think Jude Bellingham would probably be top of the list in terms of the WONDERKIDS. I think the fact that he has now been around for so long, and it seems like we have spoken about him for so long, means that he's probably fallen a little behind in terms of where the buzz and the hype players are. But Jude Bellingham is an absolute world star. Mark my words, he will go down as one of the greatest English midfielders of all time. And if you can get him in FM23, he will enhance your team, no doubt. For the number 1 player on this list, we aren't having to go too far at all. We've just looked at Jude Bellingham, who plays for Dortmund, and the number 1 on this list also plays for Dortmund. He is the previously most talked about, most decorated, greatest of all time wonderkid in Football Manager history. He is, of course, Youssoufa Moukoko. Came into the game last year as a 16-year-old, was so young previously that they needed his parents' permission to put him in the game. Obviously, he then went on to set all kinds of records in real life, fulfilled the potential that Sports Interactive and everybody could see, and he's just going on and on and on. And at the age of 17, he's now developing into that worldie of a footballer that we all know he will be. be. Starts off the game at 25 to 30 million pounds. Has a contract that runs out at the end of the first season. Not too sure if that's something that Dortmund will look at straight away. But if you can play on it and try and get in there quickly and see if you can poach him away, you will be worth every penny of your money. Obviously starts off the game as a striker out and out. I think he can be moulded into a winger as well. He has played there as like a makeshift player. He has all the abilities to do so, but he is absolutely dynamite in front of goal. 15 pace, 16 acceleration, 16 agility, dribbling, finishing, technique. Work rate could be worked upon, 13. Flair, determination. But then again, we are talking about a 17-year-old kid who has so many years to develop in world football. And he rightly was the previous most talked about Football Manager Wonder Kid. But I think that he's still going to be one of those elite Wonder Kids in FM23. There we go then, that is another 7 elite FM23 talents for you to go and check out. Do you think that anybody from the first video possibly should have been demoted to this one? And do you think anybody from this video probably should have been promoted to the first one? Let me know in the comment section. The one player that I absolutely adore, that I would love to have put in the first video, was Jude Bellingham. But like I said, there's a little bit of buzz that's kind of dropped off because we all know who Jude Bellingham is. We all know how much of a fantastic footballer he is. And when we have players like Moukoko and Endrick come along, you kind of forget that Jude Bellingham is still only 18 years old. But he's absolutely an elite talent both in the real world and in the game of Football Manager 23. Right then, if you've enjoyed this video, please don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. Also, drop a comment. Tell me which of those players is your favourite. If you have another player that you think should have made the list, or if you think I've put somebody in there that I shouldn't have done, leave a comment and I will look at making another video soon to maybe include some of the most commented players down in the comments section. Before you go, don't forget to check out other things on the channel. There are other videos. If you've seen the little bar that comes up, we have Let's Plays, we have Tactics, we have more Wonder Kids. There is something for everybody on the channel. If you haven't checked out the Arsenal beta save, feel free to do so too. But for this one, I'm going to wrap it there. I hope you've enjoyed the video and I'll see you on another video soon.